Hello everyone, today I am here to share with you all of the books I acquired in February. As always, there's a lot of books. I purchased quite a few and I received a lot from publishers or book boxes, so yeah, needless to say I'm grateful for all of them and I don't know how I'm going to fit them on my TBR shelves. Story of my life. So the first books I want to share with you are books that I bought this month. I bought 5. I bought these all for a particular reason. They are all the same genre. You can probably guess what the reason will be, and it'll be coming up on Wednesday, so stay tuned for that to figure out why exactly I bought these books. Like I said, you can guess. But the first one I bought is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. This is an adult fantasy book. This is one I hear about constantly on BookTube, especially if you want to venture into the world of adult fantasy. Hint, hint. Everyone says to start with Mistborn. I don't know much about all these books. I just want to say as well, because I kind of want to keep it that way. This one I know is about like this world where a hero rised and then he kind of failed at keeping the evil at bay, and so the evil kind of wins. So now we're living in a time of darkness, and then we have 2 people that kind of team up to overtake that darkness. So I've heard like amazing things about it, so I can't wait to read it. This will be my very first Brandon Sanderson novel, and he is a very well-loved author. There is no secret about that at all. Next book I bought is The Savior's Champion by Jenna Morika. This one is another adult fantasy. All of the ones I bought are. And this one is about this savior, like this woman that has saved the world, and pretty much she has to get married so she can produce an heir and things like that. So this is like a so they have like this battle, I believe, and all of these men kind of compete to be the savior's husband, and we follow a guy that does not want to be, he doesn't want to be involved with the savior at all. So I found this very intriguing because it's got that savior trope, which I really enjoy, and it sounds like it's gonna be a very strong like female lead character because she done saved the world and she now has to marry somebody. So it's gonna be very interesting. I've heard this is very brutal, very bloody because it's got a lot of fighting and things like that, but I've heard amazing things about it. Another book I hear about a ton, so I finally bought a copy, and that is The Name of the Wind, Patrick Rothfuss. This one and Mistborn I hear about nonstop on BookTube, especially if you're getting into adult fantasy, hint hint, as I will keep saying. But this one, all I know is like it's about a life story of a man. Pretty much you get to hear his life stories. I think there's only 2 books within this series, The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear. The 3rd one has yet to be released, but this is a lot of people's favorite book. Very, nervous to go into it, hesitant, but I keep hearing amazing things about it. I also hear it's very slow, so either way, super intrigued by it. Then we have Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I thought it's high time I bought a Neil Gaiman book. I have yet to read one of his books. No, I've read The Graveyard Book, the graphic novel, and I didn't really enjoy that, but I've heard amazing things about his adult fantasy books. This one is a standalone. All I know about this one is it is basically in UK, and like this man saves this woman or somebody, and he gets slipped into the world of he slips through the cracks of reality and lands in Neverwhere, a London of shadows and darkness, monsters and saints, murderers and angels that exist entirely in a subterranean labyrinth. That sounds very intriguing to me, so here's to hoping I'll love a Neil Gaiman book. I want to read more of his books, but I thought this would be an okay place to start out with. You tell me, I don't know. And the last book that I bought this month is Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grant. This is a adult fantasy / horror. I don't know what genre to exactly put it in, but this is basically like years ago, this ship went to film a mockumentary all about these sirens that were supposedly somewhere, and let's just say the crew never came back. So now years later, this other crew decides, let's figure out what happened to them, figure out if these sirens are so-called real and things like that, and they go and they discover a lot more, scary things than they thought. This one is full of killer mermaid sirens, only legit killer. I've heard very scary but very good things about this. I think Myra Grant is also a pen name for Shauna Maguire. I don't know, I'm horrible, I'm sorry, but either way, I've heard amazing things about this book, and yeah, I'm equal parts excited to read it and equal parts terrified because it sounds really freaking scary, so go me. So those are all the only books that I bought this month. The rest of the books, which are a lot, I have got from publishers, and I'm extremely grateful for every single publisher that sends me a book. It means so much to me that publishers want to send me books. So the first book I got sent that was sent to me from Gallery Books is The Unhoneymooners by Christina and Lauren. If you guys don't know, they are some of my favorite authors ever. They write adult chick lit, adult romance, and I just eat them up. I really enjoy the majority of their books. There's only been a few I haven't really enjoyed. And I love this cover. If this does not get me into the summer mood, I don't know what does, because I need winter to get out of here. This is about this girl named Olive, and Olive is used to being the unlucky twin. She is a twin, and her twin is getting married, and Olive really doesn't want to be at the wedding because she's paired with the best man and her nemesis, Ethan, so she has to be with him a lot to like walk down the aisle, and she doesn't really like that. And then the whole wedding party gets sick off of food poisoning one night, and everybody's sick except for Olive and Ethan. And so there's a honeymoon up for grabs because the newlyweds can't go because they have food poisoning. So they decide to go together because it's a free honeymoon, and then they have to act like they're newlyweds, and Olive has an easier time thinking that she's a newlywed than she really wants to because she doesn't like Ethan. Anyway, it sounds amazing. It sounds adorable. I can't wait to read it. It comes out in May, which is the perfect time to read it, so I can't wait to read another chick lit book. I'm all about that. Speaking of chick lit, I have Waiting for Tom Hanks by Carrie Winfrey, which is sent to me by Berkeley, and if this isn't the most adorable cover ever, in the spine, everything about this book, let me just read you the blurb. A rom-com obsessed romantic waiting for her perfect leading man learns that life doesn't always go according to a script in this delightful, charming, and funny novel. That's all I'm gonna tell you about it because that's all I know. I love rom-coms. I love chick lits. I love romance. Romance is my jam. And I love Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks has starred in a lot of my favorite rom-coms. This book's all about a rom-com obsessed woman. Here's your girl right here. So I can't wait to read this. It sounds freaking adorable. This one also comes out, this one comes out in June. So get ready for summertime because I'm going to read all of the chick lit books and I can't wait. The next 3 books I have from Simon, and the first one is Goodbye Perfect by Sarah Bernard. This is my 3rd Sarah Bernard book that I own, and I've yet to read any of them. I'm horrible, but this one sounds really appealing. Plus the cover is amazing. This is basically about a girl named Eden who has a best friend named Bonnie, and Bonnie's her best friend. She relies on her and stuff like that. Then Bonnie goes missing and they don't know where Bonnie has gone, but Eden knows. Eden knows that she has run away with their music teacher, Mr. Khan. So it's up to Eden whether she wants to keep Bonnie's really big secret of running away with her teacher or turning her in and, you know, doing the right thing. This one sounds very intriguing, very hard-hitting. It sounds really good, but like it's gonna be an intense one. Speaking of an author I have yet to read, I have The Past and Other Things That Should Stay Buried by Sean David Hutchinson. I love this cover. This might be my favorite cover of his. I have yet to read a Sean David Hutchinson book. I know, don't throw your stones at me. I'm sorry. But I don't know. None of them have really sounded really appealing to me until I read the blurb of this one. This one might be my first one. It's about a guy named Dino. That's interesting, Dino, who lives like at home with his parents, and they own a funeral home, and he doesn't mind living there at all. And then his ex-best friend July dies, and then suddenly comes back to life. And so now they have to figure out what happened. I don't know much about it, but that sounds really intriguing to me. So this might be my first one of his that I ever read. I love the cover so much. Like this, the colors, the way that has a slushie on it with like skulls in it, like it looks freaking amazing. Speaking of beautiful covers, this might be my favorite cover of the entire year, honestly, and that is The Great Unknowable End by Catherine Onsbury. This cover is beautiful. I don't know why, it gives me such 80s vibes, like it just does, but it is stunning. I love the colors in it. I love you have 2 contrasting characters right there. There's some bikes. I just think it's so pretty. This book, I don't know much about. It's about a place in Kansas where we follow a main character named Stella, and Stella's mom dies of suicide, and her brother runs off to this hippie commune, and she's forced to care for her sister Jill. Meanwhile, we follow Galliard, who has only ever known life inside of that hippie commune I just talked about, and then he decides to maybe branch out, and then he meets Stella. So basically it's about Stella and Galliard, and they meet, and then something in the air of their small town changes. Leaks of pink lightning, blood red rain, unexplained storms, and a countdown clock appears mysteriously above the town hall. So this is like contemporary with a little bit of like fantasy, maybe like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like magical realism type of genre? I don't know, but either way, it sounds really intriguing. The cover alone, like I really want to read this right now because it's like very odd sounding but sounds so amazing. From Quark Books, I have The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. This is the companion slash sequel novel to Geekerella, which I read a few years ago and loved. It follows one of the characters that was in Geekerella, Imogen. Meets a actress named Princess Amara. Oh no, that's the character she plays. It's basically like a Starfield thing. I don't know how else to explain it. Geekerella is a Cinderella retelling, only like with fandom, so this just follows Imogen, who was in that book, and I can't wait to read it. This one comes out in April, so I'm definitely planning to read it in April because I just loved Geekerella so much. It was so freaking adorable, so I can't imagine that this one would be any less adorable, so can't wait. Next up from William Amaro, I have The Huntress by Kate Quinn. Look at this intense cover too. This one is an historical novel set in World War II, which I've been getting more into. Ever since reading The Nightingale, I'm very intrigued by it. They are harder books to read because World War II is harrowing. Any war is, really, honestly, but World War II in particular. This one is, I don't know, okay. It follows a slew of characters. We have a whole bunch of characters, mainly I'm going to say Nina, who grows up in Soviet Russia, and then she dreams of flight and nothing else. And then she meets like this all-female night bomber gang called the Night Witches. How amazing is that? And then she's down behind enemy lines, and then she is thrown across the path of a lethal Nazi murderess known as the Huntress. Nina must use all of her wits to survive. Then we follow another main character named Ian, who is a British war correspondent. Then we follow 17-year-old Jordan, who wants to be a family photographer, I think. And basically I think all that ties down to is the Huntress, like this Nazi, you know, hunter that wants to get all the Nazis. It sounds very intriguing. I know she also wrote Alice Network, which I've heard really good things about, so I really want to read this very soon because I am diving a little bit more into historical fiction every single year. Next up from Head Zeus, I have With or Without You by Sherry Lowe. This is a chick lit book. It's kind of like Maybe Not a Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, where it follows two separate path lines. I think it's about Liv and Nate who walk up the aisle, and 6 years later the excitement has come and gone. And then they decide to go their separate ways, but at the last minute, Liz wavers. Over the next 20 years, these two stories play out in parallel. Will Liv's life, heart, and future be better with Nate or without him? So it really discovers her life of one storyline with him and one without him, which one would be better. So I love storylines like that. They're so intriguing and I just eat them up, so this one sounds amazing. Next up from Source Fire Books, I have Kingsbane by Claire Legrand, I don't know. This is the sequel to Furyborn, which I read last year and I didn't really love. At the time, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Looking back now, it's definitely a 3 out of 5. I really wanted to love Furyborn, but I just didn't. But it goes to show you that don't give up on an author, because I did not like Furyborn a lot. Then I read her book Sawkill Girls. Loved it. So I'm still on the fence if I want to read Kingsbane because I just wasn't in love with Furyborn, but I am still interested in it. Like, I really enjoyed the plot of it. I like there's 2 alternating timelines, but there's one character I liked over the other one and it was just not the best, but I don't know if I want to read it or not. Plus, this thing is a thick one. This is like 600 pages, so it's a feat. Will I read it or will I not? I don't know. And I have Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. This is the 3rd book in the Witchland series. The first one was called Truth Witch, which I enjoyed, but I just never finished the series. I kind of gave up on it, so I don't know if I want to read it. I don't know. I want to keep this just in case. The first one's called Truth Witch, then the second one's called Wind Witch. I think I tried reading Wind Witch, but I couldn't get into it, so I just don't know. This is a very beloved series on Twitter especially, so if you've read the second book, let me know if you loved it or not. Like, I want to check out the series, but I just don't know. I struggle with a lot of books. Like, do I really want to read them or do I not? I know it's horrible, but that's just where I'm at right now. From Freeform Books, I have The Everlasting Rose by Danielle Clayton. This is the sequel to The Bells, which I did read last year. I liked The Bells. It was okay. I thought it was very intriguing plot-wise. I thought that was awesome. It was like all about this place called, it was like New Orleans reimagined, where everybody's colorless and then you have these bells that can like really make you full of color, like they can do things to you. But it's really a book about it's really a book about racism, I would say, and diversity, and I really appreciated it, and I thought the plot was very unique, but I thought my main qualm with it was too long. So this one looks quite a bit shorter, which I'm happy about. Yeah, it's only 350 pages. I feel like the first one was like 500 pages, so I didn't love that it was too long, but I might check out this series. I might check out the sequel, I might not. Either way, the cover is freaking stunning. Maybe I'll check this out, maybe not. I am not sure. From Delacorte Press, I have Lady Smoke by Laura Sebastian. Again, another book in a series of the first one that I've read. The first one was called Ash Princess, and I liked it. I think I liked it more than other people. It had a lot of tropes in it. Like, it had a lot of like tropes, but I found myself enjoying it. The cover, again, freaking stunning. Ash Princess is basically about this character. I forget her name. What is her name? Theo, and her mom was queen, and then her mom's brutally murdered, and this really evil king takes over, and he doesn't kill Theo. He instead calls her the Ash Princess, and he just really brutally tortures her and tries to like just break her down. And then finally in the first book, she decides to take back the throne, and the second book goes from there. So it was okay. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna read the sequel or not. I'm trying to be a little bit more realistic this year of, will I really enjoy this book or will I not? So I'm glad to have it. I don't know if I'll read the sequel. The last 3 books I have to share with you are books that I got in book boxes. The first one is from Outcrate, and that is Crown of Feathers by Nikki Polo-Prito. All I know about this one is it's about like these Phoenix Riders and about this sisterhood, and this one sister really wants to be a Phoenix Rider and things like that. It sounds really amazing and really cool, and purple edges, how pretty is that? The last 2 I have are from Book of the Month. The first one is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about this book because of Angie Thomas. This one is about a main character named Bree who wants to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. That's all I know about it. I will say I have not seen the best reviews for this one. I say a lot of people expected it to be like The Hate U Give, but it's not. I want to read it. This one sounds very intriguing to me, how she wants to be a rapper. I love reading books about the music industry. This one obviously is going to talk about diversity and racism, so very, very important. The book I have is A Woman Is No Man, which is so true, by Itaf Rum. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And this is about 3 generations of Palestinian American women are torn between individual desire and their strict Arab culture in this powerful debut. A heart-wrenching story of love, intrigue, courage, betrayal that will resonate with the women from all backgrounds, giving voice to the silence and agency to the oppressed. Sounds freaking amazing. I love that it's told from 3 generations of women, especially Palestinian American. So there you have it. Those are all the books I acquired in February. A lot. As I said, I don't know where I'm gonna put them all in my TBR shelf, but we shall see. If you've read any of these books, please let me know down in the comments if you like them or not. Let me know if I should read some of these sequels or if I shouldn't. Just tell me honestly what you feel about them. I would love to hear. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.